All right. Let me see if I can get in frame here. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're getting back to it with some more painting. Thanks for joining again. So today, well, to recap from the last time, turn the camera here. We finished this apartment. Got in all the lights, all the windows, all the balconies, completely done. We don't have to touch this again. I might darken up the background image a bit, but for now we're just gonna leave it because I think it looks pretty good. Again, I might darken it up, but yeah, we're just gonna leave it for now. Our next step is to move on to the rest of these apartment buildings. Now these ones are going to be a little less labor intensive because they're further in the distance. There's not going to be as much work to do for them. So that should be a quicker process than doing this one. And there's not going to be as much detail like in the balconies or anything like that, or in the windows. It is going to match this shape and this style because all four of these apartment buildings are going to be in the same block, if you will. So they're going to be the same style. But yeah, those are our plans for today. And in case you're wondering, because I'm sure some of you might be wondering, TJ, isn't it a little risky wearing white and doing a painting? And the answer is yes, but I like to live dangerously, so that's what we're gonna do. So, first step, like the first step every single time, is to get our paint on the palette. So we're gonna need some black. We're gonna need a lot of black, actually. Well, maybe not as much as we did last time, but. So I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday evening. Just got back from a nice walk with my girlfriend for getting this all set up. So that was lovely. And then I get to spend some time with you lovely people. Just having some fun, making some messes. All right, gonna need more of the yellow. And some more red. The start of this stream seems to be going a lot smoother than the last one. I don't know what happened. I guess our service just dipped, but man, it was a blurry mess for a second, but it finally corrected itself. Now, I'm gonna get some white on there. And we got some nice new clean brushes that have never been painted with before. And that's what we're gonna be doing to do these other apartment complexes. So let me see if I can angle this camera just a bit more. There, that looks pretty decent to me, I think. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm not going to be standing right in front of it, you know, because that would just be mean, not letting you guys see what's actually going on. Let's swing it around here. There, that works. That's the angle I'm looking for. All right. So let me swing this cord up. Yeah. All right. So let's open up our reference image just real quick. Just so I can get a good look at what it is that we're working with here. Yeah. So yeah, for these other apartment buildings, there's gonna be detail but not nearly as much as this one, because this one's so far in the foreground. These other ones are gonna have a lot less detail, especially these two here. Basically any lights you see are just gonna be like dots of light, and that's about it. But that's okay. So let's get everything together. Let's get our handy dandy meter stick. And the first thing we're gonna do is just sort of map out where things are gonna go. So, in relation to that one, I want the balcony section to start there and end here, I think. Is that going to be about relative? I hope so. We will find out. So right now I'm just mapping out where I'm just mapping out where this balcony section is going to be on this particular building. Yeah, that looks about good. And then just for reference's sake, how many inches is that? It's like 5 and a bit. How about this one? Oh, that one's almost 6 and a bit, so that's perfectly fine. Okay, so I think that works. And then we're just gonna square up that with some paint. So, we got that mapped out. So first things first, I'm just gonna paint this background. Get this loose bristle out of the brush, if I can. You really want to try and get rid of loose bristles on your brush. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but there's that loose bristle. And they're very, very annoying. Because if you don't realize that they're there, you go to actually put the paint down, and then all of a sudden there's just this bristle mark, and it's very, very annoying. So let me see if I can, yeah, you can see like this one just didn't get cut right, so it's very, very long. So there we go. We got rid of that. And now we will continue with getting paint on our brush. Like so. And this area with the balcony is going to be a more grayish black, but it is going to be darker. But for now, I'm just putting it in as straight black just to get the shape in, you know? Just to get the shape down. Just like so. And then we're just going to fill that in. The light percussion in this particular song sort of reminds me of the Koroks in Breath of the Wild. And the little clacking sound that they make when you find one. So a little tip, if you find, and I'll demonstrate real quick here, because sometimes you'll be trying to do a straight line and you'll have a little bit too much paint on your brush, and you'll end up with a big glob like that, right? Let me see if I can zoom that in a bit. Yeah, you'll end up with a big glob that you don't particularly want, you know, because you want it to be flat. What you can do is, say you were painting down here, and on this side of the line is where the glob is, right? So you're painting like this, and then there's the big glob. What you do is you get as much excess paint off your brush as possible, and then you go down that same line that you did, and then just turn your brush inward. And what that will do is it will keep the blob from going outwards past the line that you wanted to make. So you just do that, and it will preserve the line while getting rid of the excess paint. And make sure you get rid of the excess paint in between every time you do the downstroke like that. So yeah, just a little tip, because that can be annoying. I know. I know very well from experience that can be very, very annoying to deal with. So we'll just keep on painting this in here. Oh, and good news. Last time we talked, I determined that the problem with streaming from my computer, because I was trying to use OBS software, and the problem is that my computer isn't powerful enough. My CPU isn't powerful enough to actually run it, because it's an old laptop. That wasn't made for streaming. But the good news is that I did order a new laptop that should be here hopefully soon. Probably not by Sunday's stream. That would be miraculous if it got here by Sunday's stream, but I'm not counting on it. So we're going to be using the Streamlabs app until that comes back, until that comes to us. And then when that happens, we'll be hopefully streaming from my computer and doing all the fun stuff with the overlays, and you'll be able to see the chat right on the screen, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. But for now, this will do just fine. Okay, so we got that filled in, which is what we wanted to do. Got it all square. Okay. And now we're just going to square up this section as well. Also, y'all should tune in for, I'll announce this a couple of times again, but you should definitely tune in to Sunday's stream, because it's going to be a very special, spooky version. It's not going to be any jump scares or anything, but yours truly may or may not be wearing a costume for Sunday's stream while we're painting together. And by may or may not be wearing a costume, I mean I definitely will be wearing a costume. So that ought to be fun. As to what costume I'm wearing, you're gonna have to wait and see. Okay. I'm just putting in a tree here. It may or may not stay there, but we're just putting it there for now. Okay. There. So we just have to wait for that to dry a little bit. Then we're gonna knock over our meter stick. Sorry about the loud noise. I'm gonna come over here, and I actually brought my water in here with me, so I don't have to leave the room to go get a drink of water. Okay, and we're gonna wash off our brush. Get as much of the black paint off as possible. And again, this isn't because we're not about to use black again, but because we want to keep the paint from gumming up in the bristles of the brush, which it will do if we let it stay in there too long, even if we're constantly using the brush. Okay, so did this one. Next, I think we're going to move on to this building, and then we'll square up this one back here. Basically what we're doing, actually I might just move on and like while we're waiting for all of this to dry, I might just go down the line and square up all of these buildings. That sounds like a plan to me, I think. So let me just check my references again. You know, sometimes there seems to be some controversy sometimes about artists using reference images. You know, almost like it's cheating in a way. Almost like if you're using a reference image, you might as well just like put up like some tracing paper, and you know, that's basically what it means, right? That you're just tracing over something if you're using a reference image. The problem is, I'm not sure about other artists, but I know for me, there's some things that I can generally parse out in terms of how they're gonna look like clouds. And that's only because I've done so many clouds. And I got good practicing those clouds from doing reference images. Like looking at reference images and seeing how clouds work and how light hits clouds and all that kind of stuff. So as far as that goes, it's not cheating because human beings, our minds don't work like computers in that we retain every single thing that we see and we remember exactly how it looks. There are some people like that. I am not one of them. So, and neither are most artists. So sometimes you need to look at a reference image to say like, oh, how is that supposed to look? Especially when it comes to light and dark and contrast and shadows and just form. You know, like if I tried to do an apartment building off the top of my head, you know, it would look nothing like this. Absolutely nothing like this. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with using reference images. And if you're an artist and someone gets on you about using reference images, just remember your boy TJ said that it's perfectly fine and they need to stop tripping. That's what they need to do. So, with that being said, let me pull this up again and just take a look at what we're working with. All right. So yeah, I'm basically just looking at pictures of apartment buildings that I've taken at night, just to see what exactly we're looking at in terms of form and how I want this building to look. And that looks pretty good to me, I think. All right. Sorry, bear with me, my computer's just running a little bit slow, which is part of the reason why I'm glad that I ordered this this new one that can actually run the streams. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get back to it, and we're going to define, just square up this building here. So we're gonna grab our meter stick again, get some paint on our brush. And we're just gonna straighten this up like so. There we are. And we'll come over a little more. And work on this edge of the building. And this doesn't have to look pretty or fancy or anything. I don't know if you guys follow video games or anything, but I saw that Nintendo released a demo for Metroid Dread, which it kind of made me laugh at first, seeing that, you know, they released a demo after they released the game. But then I saw a comment on Reddit where someone explained that actually sometimes it's a good idea, because a lot of times demos don't actually increase sales of games. You get a lot more people trying out the demo and being like, this game's not for me, than you do people saying, oh, I'm gonna get this game after they play the demo. So it's actually smarter to do it after. Plus also it drums up a second wave of interest in the game, because you have the drop and then you have the demo, so it stays fresher in people's minds. So, I mean, I was planning on getting it, like buying the game eventually, but I thought I'd try out the demo, and whew, man, it's it's kind of spooky, like unnerving right off the bat. Which I guess is the same for every Metroid game. It just kind of drops you in, and is like, okay, here you go, try not to die. But the atmosphere of the game is fantastic so far. I'm really enjoying it, and again, it's just the demo. So, like, if that's how the demo is, I can't wait to actually get the game and see what the rest of it has in store. I won't spoil anything for anybody, but just the atmosphere so far is on par with all the other Metroid games that I've played. Okay. So. I'm just doing our balcony section that pops out here. There we go. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so that's that one all squared up. Then we're just going to do the same thing for this one over here. A shallower angle than that. Where's my meter stick? Let's get that together. There. That's more the angle I want. If you're trying to get an angle, you should probably just use the straight edge right away. Don't wait and play around. Alright, just need a little more paint on our brush. Just like so. Good. Alright. So that's all looking well and good, I think. So let me there, I just moved the camera a bit so you can have a better view of what's going on over here. And we're going to check our reference image again because we're doing different apartment buildings this time. Or like different buildings, I should say. They're not necessarily apartment buildings, but they're different shapes. And if you're doing different shapes, you should get a good view of what you're working with. So that's what I'm going to do right now. There we go. Ooh, that's a weird looking building. We're not going to use that one. There was a weird building that was like curved, and I don't remember where I took that picture, but we're not going to use that one, I don't think. This is a good tune. This is a good tune. Okay, here we go. Thank you for bearing with me. This new camera angle, you can't really see me looking at stuff like you could last time. So trust me, I'm still here. I'm just checking my computer, checking these images. Okay, so for this one, kind of has 3 different levels. So we've got our kind of straight up and down here. And put my hand right in that paint. Thankfully it doesn't damage it or anything, but that's annoying. Right, we'll square off the top there. And make this. I went to go make the edge straighter and made it bulge out, which is the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. Which that happens sometimes. You can either fix it or you can just roll with it. A lot of people just roll with it. A lot of people fix it. I thought I could freehand that line, but no. So we're gonna grab this again. We're actually gonna go. Not bad, not bad. Then we'll do the same to the other edge. Okay. this line across. There we go. And that's more like it. That's more what I was going for. Oh. And we had some paint on our ruler that transferred here. And that's okay. We'll do something with that. We'll either brush it out or we'll keep it. Who knows? I think I'll probably opt for brushing it out, but so we're just going to square up this other building here. You know, if I come over a bit more, I could make that a radio tower that's in the distance. There we go. Yeah. That looks good. What we'll do is we'll add a little extra flare here. Good. Now move on to that one. Okay, let's see. I wonder if I want to put those buildings on an angle. Do I? No, you know what? I think it'll be good contrast if I just keep these ones on an angle and I keep these ones kind of more flush with like more straight on. That might be the better way to go. I think. Especially because there's not going to be too many over here. Like this is going to be mostly trees. And then just a few buildings like peeking up over the, so I think we're fine if we keep things straight and level. And again, if you might notice while you're making and creating stuff, especially if you're focusing on something like close in, you might make a lot of faces, a lot of funny faces. That's perfectly fine. Just means that you're concentrating. And everyone does it. That looks pretty good. And again, stuff back here being super, super exact, I'm not too worried about it because we're going to be doing a lot of work with abstraction. So I'm not too worried about things being a little bit off. They don't have to be exactly right for what I have planned. We just need the general shape, which is what we're blocking in now. Then this blob of a thing here is going to be, this is all going to be trees. So let me just kind of paint those in here. Again, the shape of these might change as the painting progresses, but I'm just kind of blocking them in right now, just so we have a good sense of where stuff is going to be. Nothing too exact. But these are going to be closer to the foreground than these buildings are, so that's part of the reason why we're doing this. There we go. Cool, that works well, I think. And now we're just gonna, like I said, block in some of these other buildings that are gonna be here. And these ones are way in the background. I'm just giving them sharper edges, sharper lines. Just like so. I'll put a little spire or something on here. So I might take that out. Let me get my other colors together and take that out. I thought that was going to look better as I was painting it, but I was wrong, which again is okay. But I was most definitely wrong. How does that match the color? Could be a little brighter. With just a touch more red. When you're doing color matching again, it's very much like just touch and go. Like you just kind of try and get as close as possible. You just kind of try it until you get it. You know, and you're not really gonna hurt anything by trying it until you finally get it. So yeah, you just paint until you find a color that matches what it is that you're trying to, like the background behind whatever it is you're trying to cover up. And I think that definitely works. There we go. Yeah, it isn't exact, but it works for my purposes. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over and repaint this building a little bit. I'm not going to have as high a spot. There, that's better. That's better. Much better. Okay. And now we're just going to define some of these trees in the background more. And again, we're going to add more details to these later. But for now, we're just blocking them in, seeing what we can do with them. And when you're blocking stuff in like this, you know that it's time to reload your paintbrush when stuff starts to look blurry and you're not getting crisp edges anymore. That's when you know that it's time to put some more paint on your paintbrush. Okay. Now, these ones I actually don't want to touch too much yet. Thank you, Jake from the Woods. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I don't want to touch this part of these trees yet because this whole section is going to be a lot more detailed because you got the light down here and you're going to have the path. So I don't want to really touch this much yet. So with that, we're going to move back to this this apartment building here. Just move my camera back over. Cool. And yeah, we're going to start putting in basically what we did here, not as detailed, but we're going to block that in here. So first things first is adding a little bit of white and a little bit of blue to make a dark gray, and it's going to be a darker gray than this was. It's going to be a much darker gray. Well, not much darker, but it's going to be darker. And there's going to be less detail. You'll be able to tell it's balconies, but it's going to have less detail. So right now we're just sort of spicing up the rest of these apartment buildings, since we spent so much time on this bad boy here. And this is about where I want the tree line to be. So we're going to stop there. While we block the rest of this in. Just like so. Jake from the Woods and I had a very spirited battle in Pokemon earlier today during his stream, which shoutouts to Jake from the Woods. You also check out his channel. He does a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Basically a lot of online battles Very fun to watch, very engaging guy. I definitely recommend you go check him out. And yeah, we had a very, very spirited battle. Very spirited, but very short, because he kicked my butt because I am woefully out of practice with Pokemon, and kind of built a team on the fly. Although it should be said that even before, when I did have a lot of practice, he still kicked my butt on the regular, because he's very, very good at Pokemon. Has like an encyclopedic knowledge on what different Pokemon's strengths and weaknesses are, what they'd be wearing in battle, different move sets, different builds. So he's a genius in that respect. I am not. If we were having a Paper Mario battle, if there were battles in Paper Mario where you could battle against each other, like, I would have the upper hand. But that's not a thing. So for now, I just have to get good at Pokemon. I brought out my Kyogre to set the rain, and then I brought out a Regieleki too, because it has a move that never misses in rain, and I didn't count on the Regieleki actually being faster than my Kyogre. So the Regieleki did its move that doesn't miss in rain, but there was no rain, so it missed, and then it died. Yeah, so that was it was very fun. I mean, I lost, but don't get me wrong, it's still very, very fun. Because that's the whole point, like, to have fun, like, you know. So I'm just washing off my brush real quick here. Plus, you know, it's a good signal as to you know, what not to do next time. Yeah, exactly. Wheezing was like, nuh-uh, boy, we ain't doing that today. All right, so while this section dries, we're going to add just the tiniest bit of background color to this, much like we did with the other section. So we're just going to add like a tiny bit of red and tiny bit of white, like the tiniest bit, just to gray it out a bit. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. Because again, I know it's late for you, so I hope you all have a good night. Actually, I'm gonna grab a bigger brush for this particular section, just to make it go a little faster. Even though we're not in a rush, you know. And while I'm over here grabbing another brush, I am just gonna check my reference image again. Okay, and this brush should work well, I think. This one right here. Hey, Tycat GG. Modern day Bob Ross. You know it. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm just off camera here just for a second looking at yes, much darker paintings, but yeah, I'm glad y'all still think it's chill. I'm just checking a reference image real quick that I took of downtown Toronto, just to, you know, get some lighting stuff. So I'm still here, so just bear with me. Okay, so that's how that works. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're back. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So what we're doing now is basically we're just adding some background color to this block of the apartment because it's pretty just black right now. So we're just adding a little bit of black and white and red together to give it a little more color, like this section was. You know, not a whole lot more because it is in the distance, and these buildings are going to look more silhouetted the further back they go. This is a very soft brush, actually. I've never used this brush before. It's a very soft brush. Okay, so we'll come down and I'm just kind of redefining this line just a little bit as we come down, like so. And we're going to repaint this tree. I just have to get the line of the building all the way down first. There we go. So we're going to start up here a little bit lighter. I was telling the viewers before too that I got my I've ordered a new computer because I found out that basically in order to use OBS software to have all the fun overlays and all the fun little add-ons you can have on streams, my computer is basically not powerful enough to run it because it's a very old CPU and it just does not have the power. So I ordered a new computer, which should be here soon, I hope. Probably not by Sunday, but if you do have the chance, you should check out Sunday's stream because I'm probably, and by probably I mean definitely, going to be in costume because it'll be a Halloween stream. So that'll be fun. So if you're able to make it, you should check that out. And yeah. All right, so that's more along the lines of what I wanted. Maybe we'll do a little bit more on this side, in this area here. It's a little lighter than I wanted, so we're gonna add some black to that. Okay, so now that this is more or less dry, so I'm gonna wash off my brush. The Sunday stream starts at 11. It's going from 11 to 1. I mean, it might go later, but I've got it scheduled from 11 to 1. Thank you, yes. Hopefully it works like it should. Like, I checked the specs on like Twitch forums and all that kind of stuff, and they said, like, for what I want to do with the streams, like, that should be perfectly fine. So streams should increase in quality once I get that computer. So yeah. So what we're gonna do here is basically we're gonna outline what we did, like, for the balconies, because that's what's going in this area. And again, it's not going to be nearly as detailed. As a matter of fact, I might actually darken this up a bit. I know I just spent all that time lightening it, but I might darken it a bit actually, because it's not going to be as detailed, and it's going to be more obvious that there are details missing that you would be able to see when it's this light. So let me grab another new brush, our third new brush of the day. And I'm just gonna, oh, this one is also very soft. I like it. There are different, like, stiffnesses to bristles and brushes. Like, there's hard ones, there's soft ones, there's ones that are kind of in the middle. This is a very soft brush, and I dig it. So we're actually gonna darken this up a fair bit more. This will be kind of grayish, but I just realized I don't want it to be that light of a gray. Which, you know, that happens when you're creating. I mean, shoot, it happens when you're not creating. Things just don't go the way you want them to. But that's all right. We just fix what we can. A lot of painting, you'll find, if you really get into it, is basically going back over and fixing stuff that you messed up the first time around. Fixing it is in the eye of the beholder, of course. But if you're anything like me, you'll find stuff that's like, actually, I'm going to change that. And that happens fairly regularly for me. So again, we just lightened this area, and then I realized I lightened it too much. So now we're going dark for what I want to do with this space. If it's too dark, that's preferable to it being too light. So that's what we're doing right now. I would much rather it be too dark. Especially because, like, this area, more so than... I'm probably not going to touch this building so much with the abstraction because I really like how it turned out. I'm going to abstract some parts of it, but not others. But these other buildings in the back are going to be more abstracted, I think. So, with that, I'm going to wash off this brush. I'm going to keep everything nice and clean. And we're going to wait for that to dry. And while we're waiting for the paint to dry, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my meter stick and, oh, excuse me. Take my meter stick and my, there it is. My white charcoal pencil. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, on this building, mark out where I want the windows to be. Again, this isn't gonna be nearly as exact as this building was, but I do want it to be a little bit mapped out. Because it'll just make my job easier when I actually go in and fill the stuff in, you know. So, that's where the balcony is going to be. Because less detail doesn't mean no details, right? So, I want it to be as exact as possible. I might have to move that corner over a bit actually, but that's okay. In the meantime, we'll do this side of the building. So we have our first window, because these apartments are the same design as these ones. So our first block of windows is going to be like right there. I'm going to move over to the bathroom windows. And then actually, what I might do, because that's actually a pretty good, in terms of the spacing. Well, let's not get ahead of myself here. It's going to be the edge of that, and then move over to the very, very thin strip, and then the outside of the building. What I might do is I might take this out, because I do like that length in terms of the spacing. So we're going to do a lot of color matching to basically get this black out of here. So let me go get my brush again. This time I'm going to go with a bigger brush. Just like that. Just drying it off. Okay, so let's color match as best as we can with that. So we're going to need the black, white, red, tiny bit of yellow, but definitely more red than yellow. And more white, and more black. But in the meantime, while I'm mixing this paint, yeah. Tycat GG, how you been? How you been keeping? Ah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. The job going well. I've just been, you know, doing this. Revamped my resume, so hopefully I'll get some more callbacks. You know, more than the 0 that I've gotten so far. But no, that's good. Hope the job's going well so far. Especially because, like, we're getting into the start of the holiday season. I'm gonna ask you too how you're. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Are you still taking classes too, or are those done for now? There we go. I think that color matched pretty well, actually. I'm pleased. Thanks, man. I hope so too. I hope so too. It's just a matter of time, you know. Someone will give me a call. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. What I want to do down at the bottom here is add a little bit more white and sort of lighten it as the space gets closer to the horizon. Just down here. Again, I'm kind of painting over these trees a bit, but that's okay because they're going to get repainted anyway at a later date. Again, they were just kind of placed there as a placeholder, just to sort of delineate where I wanted them to live, where I wanted them to be. There we go. All right. So now I'm gonna wash off this big brush. We got about 40 minutes left. Plenty we can do with that time. So while we're waiting for that side to dry, I'm gonna put in those lines on this side. And I'm actually gonna erase this line real quick and redraw it over a little bit because I can kind of fudge that. give myself a little bit more space. All right. Let's move it over just a bit. Just like so. Okay. So on this side, we can do the same thing. Now this side, if this side will actually be a little easier because it's much easier to add paint than to take it away. So if I do need to make this side longer, that's not a huge issue. I can just move everything over to the left a bit. Oh, nice, nice. Hey, no worries, no worries. Multitasking is, I multitask all the time. Also, tacos are delicious, so, you know. What kind of tacos? Yeah, so I am going to move this building over just a slight bit to there. And we're just putting in our spacing again, trying our best to match the size of the spacing on this side. It's going to be a little wider actually. There we go. Ooh, nice, nice. Well, that sounds delicious. I mean, the old El Paso box stuff is still very, very, very tasty. Okay, so that spacing actually worked out pretty well. So, I think what I'm going to do now is just sort of figure out how I want to do the spacing on the balconies. And again, this isn't going to be nearly as detailed as that, but I still do want to mark out where I want things to start and stop. I'm gonna have a bit more of a drop than that. Do you prefer the hard shell or the soft shell, or do you have a preference? I know myself, I've always kind of preferred the soft shell. I do like hard shell tacos, but soft shell is just like, tasty. There we go. Beautiful. And then that's gonna kind of direct how the rest of this building goes in terms of the placements of things, which is exactly what I wanted. Especially because here, like the lights and the balcony lights are gonna be very, very much like just dots of color rather than anything like really, really detailed. So. I put a line there. I'm looking about the same. Nah, just a little bit. Is that about the center? Yeah, it's close enough to the center. So, that looks pretty good. And I hope you guys can see. Yeah, just looking at the screen, I think you guys can see that. So basically we're gonna do the same thing on here. We're not gonna bother so much on this building because it's so far in the background that again, any lights or anything are just gonna be dots. So it doesn't make too much of a difference. So over here, how long are these balconies? Like 3 inches. And like this section is like 6. So I actually want it's the drop from here to here, okay. So that's like 5 and a bit. This is 3 and a bit, okay. So I want the center line to be right about here. Yeah. And then this drop is going to be basically the same in terms of spacing. And that going to about there. We got our space that is essentially the same width as that. Then our bathroom windows, which are just a little bit more than half the size of this space. Then a good amount of space here. Yeah. And then a thin little line. For the stairwell. Ooh. Okay. So, we just learned something. I'm gonna have to shorten this building. So, more color matching it is. That's all right. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. You do sometimes use a good amount of math, you know, fairly rudimentary math, but still math when you're creating artwork. Some use a lot more advanced math. I tend to use just simple stuff. But sometimes your measurements, just what you have in your mind is a little bit off. So we're gonna repaint this whole area, doing a fair amount of color matching, but that's okay. That can be fun. We'll make it fun. So, we'll grab our big brush again. Well, bigger brush. than what we have been using. And we'll get back. Am I picking up any of the color that I made before? Maybe just a little bit. Got to add some black to that. Darken it up. Get both sides of the brush so that we don't have any surprise colors coming through. We're going to start down here. And basically fill all this in. And we might have to do a couple of coats of this, but that's all right. That's perfectly fine. And we're going to go over the border of this building just a little bit in the process of this, but that's all right because we can just repaint that. And then we'll just remeasure. Like, I'm not trying to go too far over, but if we do, it's not the end of the world. Just like so. And then again, we'll lighten things up closer to the horizon line. Try and get it close like that there. Blend that down and come across to sort of match the strokes of the background. There we go. All right, so we fixed that. Now we get to grab our tiny brush again, or tinier brush, I should say, and we're going to repaint the edge of that building. And before you know it, it'll be just like we didn't do anything to it. I'm gonna grab a quick drink. All right. So yeah, we're just gonna give a minute for this to get a little less tacky, and then we'll go in with our smaller brush and repaint the edge of the building, and then paint all this in as well, while trying to maintain the lines that we drew so that we don't have to draw them again. Yeah. But like I've said on here plenty of times, artwork, a lot of it is very much trial and error. You try something, it doesn't work, so you try it again, and yeah, you hope that it works. And if it doesn't, then you try something else. Very, very, very simple. Conceptually, at least. All right. So just wait for that to a little bit longer. So I'm gonna take a look at my reference image again. This is probably about the 15th time that I've referenced my reference images. But that's okay. Let's take a look. Make some decisions on what we want to do with the rest of the piece, you know. The nice thing is, at the end of the day, we've defined a whole lot of this background, especially like over on this side of the painting, like this entire area here. This, once we repaint it, will be counted amongst that. Like, it's we're in a pretty good place in terms of what we want to do with this painting. So, grab my brush. Get this black paint together. Now this is a stiffer brush, so this is going to give us a bit of a hopefully cleaner line. Actually, let me draw that in first. Like where I want the border of the building to be. Let me draw that first. So, it's the first set of windows, second set of windows. It's the stairwell windows. So I want it to be right about here. Yeah. Now there is a little bit of that black showing through here, but that's okay, because what I'll probably do there is, if I don't do any of the background paint again, I might just put a tree there, like a big branch that's coming up over this way from the foreground. But we'll see, we'll see. There's plenty of time to make decisions like that. Plenty of time. Also, I will be right back. I'm just going to grab a pillow because I'm going to have to kneel to do part of this. It'll just give me a steadier hand. So I will be right back. And we're back with my pillow, because once again, I'm an old man. All right. let's paint this in as steady as we can. Give a nice secure line and edge to this building. Just like so. And it's about the third time today that we've repainted this building. But that's all right. It keeps getting a fresh makeover. Basically, we're just painting over the wisps of the background color sky paint that we did that ended up getting on this section. Like so. There we go. And I think that covered up most of it actually. So now I'll go back in and repaint the tree that I did have here. Again, nothing too detailed, just to give some element of space. There we go. And then, just for posterity's sake, I'm going to redraw these lines just so they're a little more apparent. More for my benefit. I'm going to wait for that tree to dry first. Yeah. But all in all, I think we've made pretty good progress today. It's been a pretty good, pretty good progress. We had to fix a couple of things, but you know what? That's all right. That's perfectly all right. Yeah. I should probably figure out what I'm gonna put on top of the buildings too, because you know sometimes you have like utility boxes and sometimes antennas and stuff, so I need to figure that out too. But that's all right. We'll figure that out. All right, that's a little bit more dry, so let me go back in here and sort of redraw this spacing in. There we go. Yep, just like so. Good, good, good. There we go. Perfect. All right. Yeah, now that works. That spacing makes sense. Yep. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Or it might not look good to you, but it looks good to me. So that's where we're at. Okay. So now, just like we did here and here, we're just gonna kind of map out where we want these balconies to start and end. I think this will be a good depth for these. Let me get more even with it. Make sure my head's not in the way. Yeah. How's that length? Just between two. That's not bad, but I want to. I didn't want to just redraw the same line there. Come on now, TJ. There we go. All right. Where's my eraser? There it is. Kind of erase this top line. Okay. I will say this time around I'm not getting as much paint on my hands, which is nice because I always get paint on my hands. Maybe up a bit. Yeah. And then this is about the point where the trees are going to start coming up. How does that look? Let me come across the room here. see how that works perspective-wise. Yeah, the perspective's off on those. So we get to do it again. That's basically the theme of this particular stream. Is just retracing our steps. Because the stuff we did the first time around didn't work out the way we wanted. But that's alright. It's all part of the fun. Okay. Let's try that again, shall we? Without the oops. To quote Nintendo Capri Sun. If y'all don't know who Nintendo Capri Sun is, he's a Let's Player over on YouTube. He might be on Twitch too, but he does most of his stuff on YouTube. When I first started getting into Let's Plays, which is, in case you don't know, that's when someone basically vlogs while they're playing a video game, and you just watch them like an episodic series. But when I first started getting into Let's Plays, he was one of the first Let's Players that I saw. And one of the first Let's Plays I saw was him playing through the video game Mother 3, which never got a North American release, unfortunately, because it is a very good, very emotional game. Very emotional game. Deals a lot with like loss and change and the fear of losing your way of life and the environment to like greed and all that kind of stuff. It's a very, very good game. And I don't know, just something about that hooked me. The way he was playing and his vlogs during the game, you know. So he became one of my favorite Let's Players. I feel like I'm going too straight again too early. I am. I don't know what it is about this particular building that's throwing me off, but maybe I'm just not paying attention. That could be it. That's most likely it. If we're being completely honest. I'm just not paying attention. I think this one's going a little bit better. One thing I liked about Nintendo Capri Sun 2 is like he's very introspective about himself, and you know, which I appreciate, because like memes and jokes and having fun and laughs is all important, but he would also like, you know, get philosophical sometimes, and I really like that. Okay, that looks better. That looks like, yeah, that's better. Yeah, that worked out much better. Okay, so let me I think the last thing that we're going to do here is I want to define this utility pole just a little bit better. That's in the foreground here. Let me actually bring up my reference image for this too, because I have one for this. Yeah, okay. Let's kind of paint this in. Again, just kind of blocking it in, nothing too fancy. Just kind of gives you a good sense of there. Good. Just lets you know that there's like some sort of utility pole here, or maybe it's like a light fixture. Something like that. Yeah. All right, and you know what? I think that'll about do it. Here, I'll give you guys a little, I'll take you on a little trip to show you exactly what we did today. So we started out here, repainted this building, and then we put in some lines, and then same with this one. Basically defined all the sharp edges, you know. We just finished with that, you know. So that's get this back in view here. There we go. That's what we got so far. So it's looking pretty good, I think. I'm pretty pleased. So yeah, that's gonna do it for our time together today, and yeah, we will catch you all on Sunday. Again, you should tune in Sunday because I'm going to be in some sort of costume because it is Halloween, and I mean, why would you not wear a costume, right? Unless you don't celebrate Halloween, in which case that's perfectly fair. Or, in the Halloween spirit, you're scared of costumes. That's fair. So yeah, we're going to be here on Sunday, 11 to 1, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So yeah, thank you all for coming in and joining us for a bit. I do appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next one. So have a good one.